Here's what we're trying to accomplish today. So I've got this thing I made for you, and the Smurf is basically just walking across a dark, rough alley, and there's supposed to be some satire in that, if you will. You know, like why is the Smurf gonna be the happy little Smurf walking across the dark alley? But so you guys are going to make this, okay? And when it's done, it'll look something like this on Animate on your screens. Okay? And I'm going to show you guys how to make it. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and start a new project file and click OK. What I've done for you too is on the whiteboard I've saved some information here for you. I have the sprite sheet itself. Okay, so a sprite sheet, when you click this, here's what a sprite sheet is. Okay, a sprite sheet is a group, A sprite sheet is a group of characters that are in different poses, or a character that's in different poses, I should say. And you can see the Smurf, as you walk through this Smurf is going from left to right. It starts here, left to right, left to right, left to right, and that's the poses, the walk cycle for this Smurf. So you guys would actually download this document by, I right click. Some of you don't have your right click enabled, but I right click and I click Save Image As.
Where can we find this, by the way?
This is on your whiteboard, right here. So make sure you look it up at the screen because I'm going to walk through every single step on this, okay? But it's right here on the whiteboard. Download the Smurf. Click that, okay? Once you download the Smurf, and I'll show you where we'll save it and how to import it, but you're going to basically place the Smurf on your stage. And then I'm going to show you how to match the contents. This says match the content. I'm going to show you how to do that, okay? So I went ahead and saved this already to have this ready to go. And I'm now going to go find it, and I'm going to click File, Import to Stage. And my back, there's my rough back alley there as well. We'll bring that in a second. But here's my Smurf sprite sheet. So I'll click Open, okay? And this is what we're going to work on to break this Smurf apart. Okay, so basically, see how it's kind of outside of the bounds of this square. Okay, that doesn't really matter right now. But let's say if you ever wanted to match that up, like if we wanted to match the background up, we would go up to Modify. There it is. Modify and Document. Modify, Document. And if you click right here, it says Match Contents. Watch what happens to these numbers when I click Match Contents. Boom, it changes to automatically fit the Smurf there. And if I click OK, you can see it fits it perfectly. Okay, it really doesn't need to do that for this itself, but I just wanted to show you that is a possibility and something you can do. Okay, now, so once we have this this all set up, I'm going to go click my black mouse pointer tool. It's just a lot easier to work with stuff when you click your black mouse pointer tool. Okay, and I'm going to click on here, and I am going to select. Oh, this is really important. This part. I'm going to click, or type, I should say, Command B. Command B. Command B stands for break apart. I could have also right-clicked it and selected break apart, but I chose Command B because I know that shortcut. But Command B, it breaks it apart to where you can see this. It looks like it's got little dots. Basically, you've made it an editable image, and you've broken it apart into little pixels. What we're going to do is we actually need to erase this document, and we're going to erase it so that we have 16 separate images right here. And if you notice, I think image 1 and 16 are the same things, 1 and 16. Okay, or they're pretty close, if not exactly the same. But that's the walk cycle. It starts here, goes left to right, and ends up right here. Okay, so this is like your animator career is starting today. Like you're going to become a real animator today. Okay, all right. So in order to break this thing apart, we're going to go over here to our tool area. On our tool area, we're going to grab the eraser tool. And the eraser tool, we need to have a small size. So I'm going to go down here to where my eraser shape is and make sure I've got a small size. I did already, but if you wanted to do that, it's just down here. Okay, so we want to click that small eraser size. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and we're going to just basically erase these different parts to make this into 16 different parts. So it's real simple, right? I'm just going to select left click. I already have my eraser tool selected. I'm going to left click. And instead of just dragging it down, though, I need to press the shift key first. Okay, so the shift key basically makes it a straight line. So watch this. Okay, so I basically just erase it. Now it's okay. You don't see the black broken apart areas right now. They're still there. So if I click my selection tool and I drag it over this whole thing, you can see that it's breaking this into two parts now. There's this part on the left and this part on the right. But we're going to break the whole thing up into squares. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to get my eraser tool, and I'm going to go and do this row next. Hold shift down when you do it. Now it'll still work even if you don't see the break apart tool, so I don't have to bring it back up. I can go do this part right now. Okay, and then now we need to break it apart from left to right. Okay, so in order to do that, what I would do is I would get right in the middle here between the feet and the head so you don't erase any of the smurf itself. And I would hold shift down and just go left to right like that. And you want to make sure you actually go off the stage itself. Okay, so we're going to do it for this one too. This is like playing the game Operation. You got to get right in there without touching the smurf. Boom. And then we're going to do it one more time right here. And remember, we have to hold shift down so it goes straight. Have to hold shift down.
That's smurf-tastic.
That's Dub says that's smurf-tastic. Did you guys get that? All right. All right. All right. So now I'm going to go and just show you. You don't have to do this, but I just want to show you that it made a really nice grid. Okay, and it made a really nice grid. And what we're going to do now is we're going to convert all of these into symbols. And we convert it into symbol, we're going to be able to save this now in our library. Okay, and what's going to be really nice is once we convert it into a symbol, it will automatically save it over here to the left. Okay, make sure you guys are looking at the screen because you're not going to understand this if you're not looking at the screen. Okay, so please look at the screen right now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and I'm going to left click on. Now watch this really quick. I'm going to have to click off the stage for a second and make that go away so I can select this area now. Okay, because if I would have selected all of them, I don't want to make it all one symbol, so I have to select off of it, then select this first one. Because remember, we're going to go left to right and then up and down here. Okay, so I'm going to select this first smurf. I'm going to right click, and I am going to go to the very bottom here. It says convert to symbol. Okay, now it says right here, you can name it. So you can name this Smurf 1 if you want. You can. I'm going to leave it symbol 1 because as we do it, it will automatically name these in numerical order. Okay, and I want it to be a movie clip, so that's great. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click OK. All right, and notice it right here. It gave me that blue line around it. It put a symbol sign in the middle, and over here in my library, okay, it says symbol 1. Okay, so I'm simply going to do this now for all the Smurfs. I'm going to go through here, convert to symbol. For some reason, my shortcut key doesn't work on my computer up here when I hit F8, but you could hit F8 too. So F8's the easy way to create a symbol. So look, that says symbol 2. Click OK, and it's putting it in order over here with symbol 1, symbol 2. So this is great. Okay, so I'm going to go here, convert to symbol. OK, click here, convert to symbol. OK, and it's putting them right in order for me, which is really nice. We're going to go right through this. Convert to symbol, okay. And we're just going to walk right through this thing. And this is the repetitive part of it, but got to do it to make it work. Bear with me for a second. So I'm doing the screen recording. I'll probably have to fast forward through this part. And just 4 more to go. Alyssa, we're about to have some Disney stuff start happening here in a second. I know Disney isn't Smurfs, though, is it?
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it?
You freaking guys. All right, ready. Okay, so I've got, now that I have all these symbols over here, I can actually delete these. So I'm gonna go ahead and highlight them and say, bye-bye. Okay, bye-bye, Smurfs. That was Smurf-tastic knowing you. Okay, all right, now, what we're gonna do is before we bring any symbols over here onto our stage, I wanna get a background in here, and I wanted to get something kind of funny, so that's why I went after the dark alley background. So I'm gonna go over to File, Import, and I'm gonna say Import to Stage. And I'm just gonna get my back alley drawing over here and click Open. Okay, so it's gonna put my alley in there, right? Now, look at the difference in size. See the alley width and then this right here. I'm just gonna go ahead and just transform this down and make it a little smaller, okay? And remember to transform, you have to go get this transform tool or hit the letter Q. Okay, if I hit Q, it will put these handles on the end of this. So that'll let me resize this a little bit. And I'm not gonna match it exactly with my transform tool because I don't want it to lose the width that it has. But I'm gonna go up here now to, do you guys remember where you go to do this? Anyone remember? Modify, Document, and you click Match Contents, and it'll put the right thing in here for us, okay? And my frame rate's 24. We'll leave it there for now. We can change it later, and I'll click OK. Okay, so now I have this back alley. All right, so what we're going to do now is we've got to start putting the Smurfs out in the alley, or the Smurf, I should say, in the alley. But before we do that, this layer, I need to name this layer background. So I'm just going to double click it, and it turns blue. And I'm just going to type BG for background. Okay. And so I've got a background layer, and in order to keep that from anything happening to it, I'm just going to lock it, so it's locked in place. Now the Smurf layer, the walk cycle layer is going to have to be a different layer, so we're going to add a layer to it, and it's going to be on top. And so layer 2, we'll go ahead and call this Smurf Walk or Smurf-tastic Walk. I love it. Has anyone ever had Smurf cereal before? So when the first Smurf movie came out, they made a Smurf cereal. And you think, does anyone like Fruity Pebbles? I love it. I love Fruity Pebbles. But Smurf cereal puts Fruity Pebbles to shame. It really does. So, all right, since I'm screen recording this, I'm going to try to stay on target here. It's hard for you guys, as you guys know, it's hard for me to do. Okay. So what we got to do next is, right now we have one frame right here. And this frame, does this frame have any content in it, Cyborg? Is your name Cyborg? This frame does not. How do we know that? How do we know this frame doesn't have any content in it? The circle's not filled, right? Does this frame have content in it? How do we know that? You guys are so smart. You guys are Smurf-tastic. Smurf-telligent.
Keep trying, G.
Okay, you're Smurf-telligent. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to actually put a blank keyframe in here for each one of these frames. Now, how many symbols do we have? We got 16 symbols, so we want to have 16 frames of animation. So I'm going to go over here to frame 16. And whoops, not hit that. I'm going to go to frame 16. What'd you say?
You gotta do both layers of.
All right, so check this out. I'm going to go to frame 2. I'm going to hit. Stop that. Breaking it. There we go. Okay. I'm good at. Do you see like my spinning wheel of death pop up there? I hate when that happens. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go to frame 2, and I'm going to hit F6. F6 puts a blank keyframe in. And I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the process for 16 frames. Okay, so I've got 16 separate keyframes here. Now, notice though that the background layer does not extend through the animation. We got to do that, right? So let's do this. We don't need we don't need it to move. So we really don't need a keyframe. We just need to add frames to this. So what do we do to add frames? What would we press? How about F5? Does that work too? F5 will work. F5 will just insert frames so that basically it's the same exact keyframe. And since we're not changing, like, you're going to miss this though.
You're going to totally miss it. If you can wait.
If you can wait. If not, go ahead and go. All right. So if you got this this background layer here, it doesn't need to move anywhere. So there's no point in having two different keyframes because we're not making it do anything different. It's just sitting there. Okay. The Smurfs, we need separate keyframes because each one that we put in is going to do something different. Okay. All right. So now let's go to the Smurf-tastic walk layer, and we're going to go click on frame 1. So we're going to actually go over here to symbol number 1, and we're going to drag it. And we're going to actually put them right off the screen, right here, before his hand even shows up. Okay? So that's going to be frame, oh, sorry about that, guys. Let me around there. Okay, that's going to be frame 1. Now, we know that we have 16 of them, so we want our 16th symbol to be here in the 16th frame, and basically right where they're walking off the stage. And what I'm trying to do is just get this so it perfectly aligns with the bottom here. That way we'll kind of know where to place each frame. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to figure out where to place each one. Okay, so I'm going to go back to frame 2 now that we got our first and our last frame set. And I've just dragged the same Smurf in there. So I'm going to go to frame 2. I'm going to get symbol 2. And I've got to kind of eyeball this because I know that right about here's where I want symbol 8 to be. Okay, I want it to be frame 8, symbol 8, right about there. So I'm going to go ahead and grab symbol 2 and just drag it down right here. Now it kind of jacks it up a little bit first. So I'm going to kind of, again, eyeball this and kind of just guesstimate where I want it to go. Now, one thing you can do to help yourself get through this and to see where the last Smurf was is something called onion skinning. And if I go down here to the bottom of my screen, there is a group of icons right here that allows me to onion skin. Okay, so I'm going to click onion skin like that. When I do that, it'll show me what's in the previous frame. There's a little bracket here, and this bracket, if I can pull this bracket out and do all the frames, or I can just, the ones I want. Okay, so eventually we're gonna do all the frames though, because that way I can kind of adjust based on where my last Smurf was. Okay, do you guys think it'll be smoother to have more frames in Smurfs or less frames? More, that's right. So we want to have as many as you can in there, okay?
So can we have more than 6?
You could absolutely do it. I'm doing it from a time perspective though, okay? All right, I'm going to move here pretty quick now. Symbol 3, I'm going to go and drop symbol 3 down about here. I know that by the next frame I want to be at around 4 because it's about halfway to my halfway point, if that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to go get, oh, whoops, I did that wrong. You guys see what I did wrong there? I'm in the wrong frame, that's right. Okay, very good. So I'm going to back up. I'm going to go to frame 3. Frame 3. I'm going to grab symbol 3. Put them right there. Okay, good. I'm going to go frame 4. Take symbol 4. And you can see this can be a bit tedious, but it's better than drawing it. Although we had a student last year named Tommy Paloff that would draw every frame, and he was amazing. He goes to Columbus State now. We're in frame 5. I'm going to bring symbol 5 over. I'm just going to keep doing this until I end up right here for symbol 8. Okay, so we're in frame 6. Grab symbol 6. Frame 7. Symbol 7. I'm a little bit ahead of schedule in terms of where my animation should be. Like this should be 8 really right now. So I'm a little ahead of schedule. I want it to be a little smoother, so I'd probably slow down if I did this again. Symbol 8, I'm going to drag right here. Frame 9, symbol 9, just going to start matching them up. You'll see a little bit of probably a change of pace right here because some are closer than others, but that's okay. Every animation is different, and that's what's neat about it. Okay, we'll go to 11, match up symbol 11, whoops. Symbol 11 with frame 11. I'm just literally left-clicking and dragging and bringing those over. Okay, let's go to 12. 13. $14. All right, now we got a problem here because I've got frame 16 right here. I'm gonna go to frame 16 and just move him out a little bit this way. And then go back to frame 15 and place that in between. Okay, so now I've got literally all of my frames, or as I scrub the playhead, I can see. And that'd be like if you were drawing this, like the old Walt Disney films, this is what they would compare each frame to. Pretty cool, huh? Now I'm going to turn onion skinning off because it's kind of annoying now because it's like I don't want to see that anymore, so I'm going to turn that off. And then I just want to hit enter or return, and he walks across the screen. Now, he's going a little fast, isn't he? So if we go into properties, what is the tool we use in Animate to slow things down?
FPS.
Our FPS. Which stands for what? Who remembers? Frames per second. Now, I want to slow them down about halfway. Okay, I've got 16 frames in here, so if I don't want them to I want them to walk about, I don't know. Let's go to 8. Let's drop it all the way to 8 and see what it looks like.
It's too slow, man.
We're gonna find out.
Dangerous game.
It's a nice leisurely pace for a Smurf, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll live with that. Okay. Now, what we're going to want to do before we can export this is we want to go ahead and we want to lock our frames. Since we're done, we're not going to change anything else. We're going to lock our frames. We're going to go to File, and we're going to go to Save As, and we always save our work first. So this is the Smurf-tastic walk, and I'm going to go ahead and just save it as a Flash file. Now we have to export it so we can put it on WordPress, right? Right. So we would go to File and Export and do all that kind of stuff. All right. I'm just going to show you though really quick what this would look like if I hit Command Return. And this did this to me last time too. Let me resave this. Malachi saw me struggling with this a minute ago, didn't you, Mal? What did I do different here this time? Hopefully you guys will get to see the final product. You did see it here, so you do believe me that it works. But this isn't the one that we just did. So, yeah, let me see if I go to Publish over here. Look at File, Publish, and let's see if this works now. It still doesn't want to work for there. But anyways, so when you're done and you export it, you will see something that looks like that. Now, he's walking a little faster than our guy is, okay? If we look at ours is moving a little bit slower, okay? But that's the concept or the idea of what we want to have happen here. We want to have this thing just scooting at a nice leisurely pace along the screen, walking through a dark alley, okay? Now, what's really cool, check this out, guys. You can go onto Google and you can just type in sprite sheets. Who's worked with sprite sheets before? Anybody in here? Malachi, a little bit?
Avery, you did as well.
Okay. So there's a lot of places you could go to download sprite sheets. If you just click on images even, there's a ton of them. And so you guys what your assignment's going to be tomorrow is you're going to take a sprite sheet or multiple sprite sheets if you kind of get the hang of this, and you're going to build an animation the way we just did it. So I'm going to have this screen recording posted in case you get stuck. But you can download some of these sprite sheets, and you're going to break them apart and do the eraser tool, and then you're going to create your animation, preferably with more than one character if you can, if you have the time, and do something that you can export then and put on your WordPress. So I'm going to go ahead and hit stop up here.